Darlene, a lot of people have said that they've fallen backwards into the career of insurance. How did you end up here?
Before there was any formal education, when I was about 19 years old and I needed a job, I walked literally up the street into a small office, which was a small insurance brokerage, and started answering phones that day. The boss there became my mentor, and she encouraged me to get my license, which I got within 6 months. Got my insurance brokerage license, and so I could help her run this small office. Obviously started doing a whole bunch of different things. When you're in a small brokerage out in the middle of nowhere, you tend to be a generalist. So we would do personal lines, home and auto, small commercial business, that type of thing. I really liked the personal lines at that time. So stayed with home and auto. Ended up actually managing their department because I had such a vast experience with the different angles of personal lines. So that really seemed to help. So I did that. And then, you know, the beauty of our industry is as you get bored or under challenged, if you're in an office where you can move sideways or whatever, and if you let the powers that be know that you're interested in doing something different, opportunities become available. So I shifted from personal lines to commercial lines.
Now, that had to be an interesting shift, and it allowed you to expand your scope of services and expand your scope of the clients that you were dealing with and industries. So help us understand how that worked within your career, how you were able to move into those different areas and deal with larger clients in different professions and industries.
So what happens is when you start talking to people about their home and auto, generally you'll have a conversation about what they do for a living, or it can come up, and it started to come up. One of the gentlemen that I did their home and auto, which was what we called VIP, so very important people. They had very large homes, cottages, and he actually happened to own a company, and he said to me, you know, I just love dealing with you. Can you help me with my commercial insurance? And at the time I could, but it really wasn't in my role. And I said, you know, absolutely, why don't you send me the stuff, I'll take a look at it. So then I had to partner with someone because I really wasn't experienced in commercial yet. And that was actually the catalyst that said, wow, this is so fascinating. I just got so into he was doing manufacturing, and I really enjoyed it. So that's when I kind of said to my boss, you know, is there any way I could kind of get into commercial lines? I really enjoyed doing this, and it's really different. It wasn't as by the book as personal lines. So he said, well, you can, but you're gonna have to start at the bottom. Okay, so I started in the service part of it. You know, you help them with the everyday changes, you learned how the policies went, the renewals, so you have to learn all over again. But for me it was challenging and it was exciting.
When you made that move, you know, sometimes to advance your career, you either need to make a lateral move, or sometimes you need to step back a bit. Did you feel that way when you went from personal lines to commercial lines? Did you feel that that was a little step back, but you believed that it was going to advance your career overall?
Actually, in that transition, I didn't feel like it was a step back. I thought it was a good step forward because I knew the potential that commercial lines had. I mean, you know, it's no secret that commercial departments make a little more money when you're an employee on the commercial side of things. What I did think was a little bit of a step back was when the owner said to me, hey, you're really getting pretty smart at handling commercial accounts. I'd like you to be my executive assistant, helping me with the larger commercial accounts. Although it was a little more money, I did feel like it was a little bit of a step back because now I almost felt like a glorified secretary. But I knew if I wanted to learn more complicated accounts, then I would have to take that step. And it was a really good opportunity because he had some really amazing big accounts.
You, in the insurance industry, we talk about mentors as well. And we all have mentors. We've got people that we really remember that have helped our career along the way. Give us an example of a mentor that has really helped you.
I'm going to have to go back to my original first boss. Every time I've made a change, I talk to her first. And she's now 82 years old, and when I most recently changed positions again to do the training I'm in, I had to call her first and say, do you think this is the right move? What do you think? And she said, Darlene, I can't even keep up with you anymore. She said, you do whatever you think you feel you need to do. But along the way, she was there to kind of be my reality check. Because some moves I didn't make. Are you sure this is the best move for your career? I believe everyone needs that kind of a person, especially if they're in the industry, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a coach, someone to say, hey, let's give you a reality check. Is this really what you want to do? Is this going to advance your career where you think you want it to go?
Darlene, you mentioned that you had a mentor that was your first boss, and that boss helped you be taken more seriously in your career. Help us understand how that works.
From a woman's perspective, because she was a woman in the industry when it was really predominantly men, she made sure that I understood what was ahead of me in the position of being a woman and trying to get ahead to be more than what I already was. So some of the things that she would say to me is always follow through on what you say you're going to do. You know, you're better to underpromise and then overdeliver. You want to be taken seriously, so when you present yourself, you don't want to be flippant. You want to make sure that you are serious and you're definite in your speech. Be direct. You know, don't be wishy-washy. She was adamant about me not being wishy-washy. So it was about those kind of things that, and you're going to have to work a little harder than a lot of other people. You're going to have to, you know, maybe stay a little bit later, you know, make sure that you have your education. And I think that's why I'm so adamant about people getting their designations. Again, I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. I want to be taken seriously. I want people to know that I'm credible, that I can be a trusted advisor, and I have the designations to say that I've done the work.